Hello, in this video tutorial I will show you how to complete assignment 3. Assignment 3 involves creating, managing, modifying, organizing tables with data in those tables and also the relationships among those tables. Prior to attempting assignment 3, I highly recommend that you read tutorial B from your textbook because the tables, the data that is discussed in this assignment comes from tutorial B. Also, you may want to read these optional resources on inner and outer join and also various validation rules in Microsoft Access. To get started on assignment 3, you need to download assignment 3 files into a folder where all of your working files will be contained. So go ahead and download the zip file in a folder where you can easily store all of your files. In my case, I created this folder on my desktop right here. So all the assignment files are right here. So I'll unzip all those files into the assignment 3 folder. Now the description file contains all the steps that you need to go through to complete this assignment. By the way, you don't need to submit this Word file at the end, you only need to submit the database. So we will go through each of those steps one by one. So once again, it's advisable that you read tutorial B from your textbook to get some background information on the data set and the tables that we'll be using in this assignment. Next, you need to create a Microsoft Access database file with the following name: your first name, last name, assignment 3. So this is what I will do. I will launch Microsoft Access and I'll select blank database. And I will save it in the folder where all of the files are. So the name should follow the convention of first name, last name, assignment 3. So I'll put Vlad Krotov, assignment 3. Okay. So now we have our database opened. When you create a new database, it automatically creates your first table. For now, we don't need this table, so I'll go ahead and close it without saving anything. So the first thing you need to do, you need to import the following 3 tables from the employees table database file that is available for you together with other assignment 3 files. So this is how you do it in Microsoft Access. You go to external data, new data source, from database, you select Access database, and then you go where that file is. So this is the database where the 3 tables are contained. In your case, you need to import tables. You don't want to link data at this point, although there are some steps that require you to create a link table. So for now, you'll select this option, you'll press OK. So here you press Select All, OK. And you can also save that import step, although this is not required by the assignment. So you close it, and here you have 3 tables. Now, for step 4, you will delete the old employee table from the database. To delete it, you need to make sure that it's not opened, because if it is opened, then Microsoft Access will not allow you to delete that file. So you right-click on it and you select Delete. Now, I'm also asking you to organize your tables in the custom category using the custom view in the navigation pane with certain groups being created for each category of tables that you import or create. So these 2 tables will be placed into imported from Access group in the navigation pane. I'll show you how to do it quickly, and then I'm not going to explain much. I'll just place all those additional tables that you create in the database into appropriate category that I create. So the first category is called Imported from Access, and I'll just copy the name right here. Now here you need to switch to Custom View, and for now you just have Custom Group and Unassigned Object. So what I will do here, I will just keep this Custom Group. It's created by default. And what I'll do, I'll right-click the first table and I'll add it to a group, and I'll select the new group option to add a name. And the new name will be Imported from Access. So you see this table is right here. And then here I will also do the same thing. I will place it into Imported from Access. And this category is not necessary. You can rename it, or I'll just delete it. So whenever you create a new object in the custom view, it will be in the unassigned objects group. And then you can just push it into a new category from that unassigned objects group. Now, in the employee table, you need to make sure that employee ID field is set as the table's primary key. So I'll show you how to do it. You click on the employee table and go to the home tab. You can open it right here, and this is the view that you'll be switching back and forth quite often. So this view for a table, for an open table, allows you to switch between datasheet view. So this is what you see right now. This is where you enter data as if it was an Excel sheet. And then the design view, where fields are actually added and their properties are modified. So here we have the following fields. Those are the data types for those fields. And to set employee ID as the primary key, you just right click here and then select primary key option. And then don't forget to save it. Overall, it's a good practice to press save button or Control S as soon as you're done with an important operation, so your changes are not discarded. So I'll go ahead and close this table now. Now in the hours work table, the primary key is a compound primary key. It has two parts: employee ID and week number. The reason for that, there may be duplicates of employee ID in the hours work table because we have multiple records for each employee depending on how he or she worked. So to distinguish one employee record from another one, we will add week number as the second component of the primary key. So this is how we do it. Go to the hours worked, open it in the design view, either by right-clicking it and selecting here, or selecting the design view here. And then right-click here, select it as a primary key, and then right-click here and also, right-click here, and then select primary key for this field, and then hold Control and do this again. Right-click and select it as a primary key. So you need to hold Control to select the second field as a primary key as well. And I'll click Save here. Now also in the hours work table, you need to change the data type for hours to number. So this is how we do it. We go to the design view, and then hours should be a number. Now it says that some data may be lost if you change your data type. That's okay, so you'll confirm that. Now, next you will create a new group in the navigation pane called link table, and you will use the file called insurance XLSX to create a linked Excel table called the linked insurance that is placed in the linked table group. Okay. What I will do first, I will just create that linked table first, that linked file first, and then after that I will place it into linked table category. Okay. So this is how you can do it. You go to external data. This is the tab that you go to get new data for your database. You select from file, and then you select Excel. And then go to your assignment 3 folder, and this is the file that comes with assignment 3. So this is the file that you need. Now, there are several options that you can do. You can just import the source data into a native access table with all the layouts that is detected. You can append the data contained in a file such as Excel file to an existing table such as employee, or you can create a link data source. Now that option may be useful if this file is managed by somebody else. So you let somebody else work in with that file, and then you just connect that file to your database for data retrieval purposes. So you select that link option, you press OK. And here it asks you to help the import wizard to recognize the data and headers. Now the first row here contains column headings, so we'll confirm that. So immediately Access will recognize that this is not data. Those are field names. You hit next. And the name of the table is linked insurance. That's what the assignment asks you to do. So you select finish, okay. And then as you can see, this link table, it looks like an Excel file. It doesn't look like a native access table. It is placed in that unassigned objects category, and we need to place it into a linked table group in the navigation pane. So this is this is how you can do it. You right click on it, and then you select add to group, new group, and then you name it linked table. So your linked table is right here, and then nothing is available in the unassigned objects category. Next, you need to add one row to this linked table. This is the row of data that you need to add. So this is data for employee with ID 87510. This is me. This employee has my name, Vlad Krotov. So here we have an insurance provider called Murray, and the level is family. Now, to add this one row of data, you cannot do it within Access because this is a linked table. So you see I'm trying to modify something here, it doesn't work. So you don't have file here. You need to work with the file itself to see those changes available here. So what I will do, I'll go back to our insurance file. Okay, I'll cancel it. We've noticed that when this file is open, then we may have a conflict with access rights in Windows. So I'll make sure this file is not open here. So I'll enable editing, and then here I will add 87510 Murray family. Now I already see a problem here. This ID should have a 0 in front, but because it was imported as a number, I believe, let me check the cell property. Yeah, like as a general, that 0 has disappeared. So, so what I will do, I will format all those values as text, just in case, for the sake of consistency. And I'll add 0 here in front, and I'll try to save it. Okay, so it looks like it's saved. Now let me check what's here. Okay, so this entry has been added, and this issue has been corrected. Next, you will use the same file called insurance XLSX to create an access table called insurance that is placed in the imported from Excel category. So this time we'll import the same data set, but this time it will be a native Microsoft Access table. So this is how we can do it. Again, we go to the external data tab, we select new data source from file, Excel, and then we select the same file. Now in this case, it's not a linked table. You're going to import the source data into a new table together with its data, so this option needs to be selected. So you press OK. Now here there's something going on with recognition of names. For some reason it doesn't recognize that first column name, so we're not going to do it. We're just going to keep data, and then we'll manually enter employee ID, provider, and level as names of those fields. So I hit next. So this will be employee ID. It's a short text. Next. And then you'll choose your own primary key, which is your employee ID. And the name will be insurance. Okay, again, you can save import steps, just for the sake of demonstration, you can save that import, and you will see that all the save imports are right here. If you save an import, you don't have to go through those steps again. You just activate it, you run it, and it will do the same import again. So this is our unassigned objects table. So what I will do, I will move it into a group called imported from Excel. So that's the name. So this is the table. I will open it in the design mode, and I will change the names of field to provider and level, and they're short text. And I'll hit save. Okay, now we will also import new data for a new table called job assignments. To create a table called job assignments, we'll import it from a text file, job assignments txt, available with your assignment files. Again, we'll import the file first and into a table, and then we'll place it into the category called imported from text, and I'll try to copy the name of this category. Okay, so you go to external data, new data source from file, but in this case it's a text file. You'll find that file, job assignments txt. You'll import it as a native table, so you press OK. Now here it asks you whether this file is delimited or fixed width. In our case, it's delimited, which means that data is separated using commas. So you hit next. So yes, so you confirm that it's separated by commas. Hit next again. So this field is once again employee ID. So you hit next, and you will choose employee ID as the primary key. And the name is job assignments. Close it. So it's here in unassigned objects, and you add it to the group, new group that is called imported from text. So here it is. Now you need to modify the names of fields and their data types. So we already have employee ID. Then we need to have clock in, clock out, and date worked. So we'll do it quickly in the design view. So it's clock in, clock out, and then here it's hours worked. So those are the date work. And all of those fields are datetime data types. So you hit save to make sure all the changes are saved. So now when we open this table, it looks approximately like this. Not everything is formatted exactly, but you can change the date format to get the exact appearance. You can do it a bit later. Okay, now next you will enter a couple of tables yourself from scratch. So you'll create a new group in the navigation pane called Enter Tables. So the first table will be called Merit Raises, and it will be placed in this group. The table should have the following design and data. So you need to have employee ID as a short text, the primary key, and then merit raises. So what you need to do, you need to go to Create Table. So this is the table. If you want to save it, it will ask for a name. So the name will be Merit Raises. Now you'll go to the design view and you will change this to employee ID. This will be a short text. This is the primary key. And then merit raise, it will be in currency, which means this field will store information about what kind of hourly wage raise was assigned or granted to a particular employee. So the data type here is currency. Hit save. Then I switch in this table to the datasheet view to enter the data right here. So let me minimize this one. So we have 11411, and the raise is 25 cents, 0.25. And then for the second employee, the ID is 14890, and the merit raise is only 15 cents. Okay, so you hit save, and then the second table that you will enter yourself is called wage data, and once again you will place it once you're done under the enter tables category. So let's place this one first. It will be a new group called enter tables. So go to create table. So once again, when you hit save, here's the name that you need to use for saving this table. It's called wage data. And those are the fields: employee ID, wage rate, which is a currency, and then salary, which is a Boolean or true or false variable that has two values, yes or no. So I'll be switching back and forth here. So you'll switch to the design view first. If you select auto number, that will be an auto incremented primary key. So when you add first value to this table, it will be assigned value of 1, then second will be 2. So it will increase, that index variable, that primary key values will increase each time you add an additional record. So it'll be short text, wage rate, and then we have, which is a currency, and then we have salaried, which is a yes or no variable right here. Okay, hit save, and then you switch to the datasheet view to enter the data. So here we have a bit more data to enter. So let's put it side by side, if you don't mind, so we can look at both. So here we're going to have 0911, it's 850, and then salaried no. So it'll be 11411, 1050, and salary is unchecked. And we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The wage rate is 0, and the reason it's 0 because it's a salaried employee. Because of that, the employee doesn't have an hourly wage. So here we're going to have 14,890, 1250. So it's not salaried. Make sure you don't make errors, because if you make errors at the data entry stage, then the tables will not be able to connect properly through a relationship. So you'll have to figure out where the typo is, or sometimes even to retype the entire table if you cannot figure out where the typo is. So it's 0 because it's a salaried employee. And here we have 7146. It's a salaried employee as well. And you hit save to make sure that your data is not discarded. Okay. Now in the employee table, you need to add 2 additional entries for 2 employees. Those entries are right here. So go to the employee, make sure you are in datasheet view. Again, try not to make mistakes, especially in primary fields, because those records will not be properly connected. And the date, for the sake of consistency, I will select February 28th. So here's another record that we need to enter. And the date will be February 28th for the sake of consistency. And then we'll check US citizen. So once you're done, save this table. And then I'll go ahead and close it just in case. Now, as the next step, you need to append data about new employees, new hires into the same table that we just modified called employee. So those are the records that we need to append. And then what we will do as the next step, we'll change, well, I'll show you later how we do the change. So first, we're going to go to, once again, external data, new data source from file, and we're going to get it from text file that comes with assignment 3 called new hires. Okay. Now you need second option, because you will append all the data contained in the text file to the data already contained in the employee table. So you press OK. It's a delimited file because we use commas, meaning characters, not spaces, to separate values. So it seems to properly recognize it. It will import it into the table called employees. We hit finish, and it's right here. So when you open this file in this table in the datasheet view, you see like all those additional entries that have been added. Now to modify Vacaville, which is a city in California, to Sacramento, you need to use Ctrl F, select current document, Control F, just like you do in Microsoft Word, so you'll find Vacaville and replace it with Sacramento. You press replace all. So you see all values of Vacaville were replaced with Sacramento, so you hit save. Now next you will add descriptions to the employee field. It's easy to do, you just need to type those descriptions. I will not do it here, I'll just right click, I'll show you it's in the design view, and here you can enter any description that you want. Just use the same descriptions that you see here in the table. Now next you need to hide the US citizen field or column in the employee table. Switch to the design view one, I'll just save changes first. You need to be in the datasheet view, so go to this field, right click on it, and then select hide fields option. So this is how you hide it. If you want to unhide this field, just right click on any field and then go to unhide fields option, and here you can click on the field that is currently hidden in order for it to appear in the datasheet view in Microsoft Access. Now next you will sort records in the employee table based on the dead hired field from oldest employee to the newest employee, to the newest hire. So you click here and you select that sort oldest to newest option. So now the most recently hired employees are at the end of the list. And you will also at this stage unhide the US citizen field. Now next you will filter employee records so that only data for employees hired before February 28th is displayed. To do that in the datasheet view, you can select, click on the date hired field and then go to date filters option and then select before. Now it says on or before 28, so we don't want 28 to be included because the assignment says before February 28th. So we'll select February 27th to make sure that we actually select all the records that are before 28. So we'll press OK. So now here everything is filtered. So we have only the old employees, old hires displayed here. Now what we will do, we want to make sure, we want to filter by another field value. We want to make sure, we'll go to the advanced filter to see not only the old hires, but also the old hires that are from Delaware State. So we'll go to advanced and we'll select filter by form option. It's already displayed here. And for state, we'll select the value of Delaware. Okay. And then when you toggle filter, you see that only old hires from Delaware are displayed. Now, next you will save this advanced filter as a query, because our operations, what we did is equivalent to a query. So, so when you're in that filter by form view, go to advanced and then select save as a query. And the name of the query should be employee filter. So you press OK, and this employee filter is right here in the unassigned object category. And we also need to place wage data into the enter table group in the navigation pane. So now when you click on this query, if you go to the design view, you will see how this query was implemented using Microsoft Access point-and-click query constructor, which is available right here. Next, what you will do, you will export the results of this query as a PDF file called employee filter. You will save that file because you need to submit it once you're done with this assignment together with other files related to this assignment and this database. So, so this is how you do it. You go to the datasheet view. By the way, when you're dealing with query, you can also have a SQL view. So in the SQL view, you'll see an equivalent SQL, which stands for Structured Query Language Expression, equivalent to your filter operation, and also equivalent to your visual point-and-click view of the query. So let's go to the datasheet view, and then we'll go to external data, and this time we're not going to import anything, we're going to export it to PDF. So that will be the name employee filter when you publish it. So we save that as a report in a PDF file. Okay. And then this time I'm asking you to actually save that export step. So next time with one click of a button you can generate this report again. So make sure you don't forget to select that export option, save export steps option. So you save that export. So next time you should be able to retrieve it from the save exports list right here. Now next, what you will do in the merit raises table, you will add a new field called bonus. So and then you will also create a validation rule for this field. So let's create it first. Let's create a field in the merit raises called bonus. So go to merit raises, open it in design view, bonus, and it's a number. Now just keep in mind that in order for you to use decimals and percentages, you need to select single data type here. So you'll hit save, and then you'll go to the datasheet view. Okay, well first let's create the validation rule here for the bonus field. So this is how it should look like. The field size should be single, and then validation rule is between 0 and 1, because by bonus we mean like a percentage bonus. Okay, between 0 and 1 it's actually a logical expression. Microsoft Access is not case sensitive, so usually those expressions, they're typed in capital letters, but it doesn't matter because the Access will still recognize it. So it's actually a command, it's an expression. And then if somebody enters a number outside of that range, you will display the following option: must be a value between 0 and 1. Okay, and you'll save that. Okay, so you go to the design view, sorry, go to the datasheet view, and you add one record here. You will add a bonus raise right here. So the bonus raise is 25% or 0.25. Okay, or you can also enter this 25%, it should work, right? However, if you enter 3, it will give you this error message, must be value between 0 and 1. So we'll enter 25% right here. I already told you that there are some in that optional article posted in Canvas. There are additional validation rules in Access, and they're very numerous, and we'll be using quite a few of them in this course. So I highly recommend you that you read this article about additional validation rules in Microsoft Access. Now, also for the hours worked table, you will add a total. Go to hours worked, and then select the totals option. So here you will, okay, total can be, let's delete this one. Okay, let's just close this table. So you will select totals, and then immediately the totals will go here. So it will be sum. Okay, you will save this table. So it's 523 hours in total. You'll close it. Now, make sure that employee ID is set as the primary key for all tables except hours worked. In the hours worked, it's employee ID and week number. That's the compound key for this entity. So double check that before you start fine-tuning all the relationships here with referential integrity options. Okay, so this is what I will do. I will close all the tables. Check employee in the design view, so it has employee ID as a primary key. Then we have the hours worked with a compound primary key. Then employee ID is set as the primary key of insurance. Job assignments, merit raises, and wage data. So it's all employee ID, so it should all work. So I'll go ahead and close everything. Now to set relationships, you go to database tools and you select relationships. And you can hold shift and select all tables except linked insurance. You don't need that. And you can also select queries, but you don't need it in this assignment. So you click add. How you reshuffle those entities doesn't matter. It's more like for visual appearance. So I'll put employee in the middle, and I'll put everything related to earnings like wage data, merit raises, hours worked on the right side, and then job assignment and insurance on the left side. So this is how you set a relationship between two tables. You take the keys based on which the relationship will be set, and you just drop it on the corresponding key here. So it immediately recognizes that this is a one-to-one relationship involving employee ID keys. By default, you have the first join type. Again, read about join types in Microsoft in databases in that optional reading. So basically, right now we're including only values where they overlap, where two tables overlap, based on that key that we're using for linking. But there are some other options that you can read about. And then you need to enforce referential integrity. So once you select that, it will ask you how exactly you want it to be enforced. The first option is cascade updated related fields. So for example, if here in the employee you change employee ID, the changes will be cascaded to all tables. And then you also select cascade delete related records. If you delete an employee from this table, then all of that employee's records will also be deleted from the linked or corresponding tables. Now here you may have errors like this relationship may not be set properly. This usually happens because of data entry. You either have a wrong name for employee ID. Let's say you made a typo here, or some values do not correspond. Again, you made a typo in values of IDs. So if it doesn't work, it means you need to go back to tables and double check everything to make sure the data is correct. And it may actually happen now. And if that happens, I'll just pause it and I'll try to fix that error at the data level. So again, it's a one-to-one, enforce referential integrity. It's a one-to-many, enforce referential integrity. So you do the same thing for all relationships here. So luckily it worked. I didn't see any errors. If you want to delete a particular relationship, you click on it and then you hit delete button like this. Okay. If you want to change properties, you double click and all those properties are open right here. So I'll just check whether we have referential integrity enforced. Okay, so it looks like everything is correct. So now tables are properly linked with referential integrity enforced, so we should see how those referential integrity rules work. The first thing that we're going to do, we're going to change the data in the employee table by changing the employee ID for somebody named Joseph Brady from this number to this number. So let's do it and save the table. So this is the employee, so we'll change it to 91111, okay, and we hit save. Once we do it, we see that in related tables such as hours worked and insurance, the employee ID is updated. And then to see how the second referential integrity option works, you will delete one record from the employee field. The employee ID is this one. This is me, Vlad Krotov. So if you delete it, if everything works properly, then all the records related to this employee should disappear from related tables as well. So one thing that I remember that in the merit raises, we have data for this employee, right? So it should disappear from here. So I'll go ahead and close all those tables. I'll save those relationships. I'll go to employee. So this is the record that I'm looking for. So I'll right click, I'll select delete. So it says, okay, it will cascade deletions in other tables. Do you want that? Okay, yes. So I save it. And then when you go to merit raises, you see that the data, the bonus data for this particular employee disappeared. So this is how those referential integrity rules work. So once you're done with this step, you need to save all of your files in a zip file with the following name: your first name, last name, assignment 3. So in addition to your database file, you need to include the supplementary insurance XLSX file and an employee filter PDF export. So this is how you do it. Make sure you close the database, because when you have your database open, it creates the temporary shortcut for accessing the database. So some people submit it like that, and I cannot open the database itself. So close it, save it, and close it. So we'll save the relationships. And then just add your database file, your insurance file that you modified, and your employee filter by holding Control. Then right-click and select Send to Zip, and then name that zip file with your first, last name, assignment 3. And that's it. You should be able to submit this file through Canvas as your submission for assignment 3. So that completes our assignment 3 tutorial. Thank you for watching.